thank you for talking to me.
Thanks. I feel privileged to be here.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's vulnerable and cool that you're doing it. And also, thank you for serving the church. And thank you for leading this. It's inspiring and cool, and we're the better for it. Do you mind telling me a little bit of a backstory as to how you washed up on the shore of this growth group? Like, what's the... I mean, and that can be as...
That picture.
Yeah.
This book isn't a new book. These concepts aren't new concepts. When 30 years ago, when our children, my husband Tim and I, were having our children, and they were very small, our church then, back in southern Pennsylvania, offered this as an adult Sunday school class. This book, How to Really Love Your Child by Ross Campbell. And my pastor's wife led it. And my husband went because at the time I was teaching a group of young adults, college-age kids. I had a Sunday school class going, so I couldn't go. But he wanted to go. He wanted to hear what this concept was about. And after he went the first couple of Sundays, and it was a Sunday morning like mine is going to be, he said to me, "I've never heard concepts like this before of parenting, and you need to go." Our pastor's wife was going to offer the class again, a second term, and he said, "You just have to be available to go to it." It changed me, and he said, "I think it will you as well." So my husband went first and discovered this, and then we went together the second time through. Bought the book, read it, and it was just like what Oprah describes as an aha moment to me. I thought, wow, I just never would have approached parenting my children the way that I learned to parent and really look at their training as a discipline and not to equate discipline with punishment. What I'm talking about when I say discipline is guidance. And when children feel guided and protected and nurtured, molded, they're going to feel loved. So how do you really love your child? It's not just about that warm fuzzy, that
right.
I think we do all have in us for our children. It's more, and it's harder. It's harder. It requires thought, forward thinking. Sometimes I feel like we put more thought into Sunday dinner than we do how to train our children, how to discipline our children, and how to guide them and grow them. This book gives real initiative to that.
Yeah, that must be, for so many parents, myself included, that must be like water in a desert in a way, because your heart's in the right place,
right?
And then you're dragging all that baggage of wherever you came from into this situation.
Exactly, and we all have it. And some people grew up in wonderful, warm, loving Christian homes.
But that's a different type of child rearing baggage, isn't it? It's like it can be. That's the interesting thing about that stuff.
Can be. Talk to pastors' children.
Yeah, right.
They'll tell you.
That's right. Yeah.
There's all kinds of baggage, and it's not always about shedding your baggage, but maybe how to carry it.
Yeah. How to parent through it or something.
How to parent through it, how to parent with it. Because we don't get to go around childhood. We need to go through it with them.
Yeah, that's good.
And the more we try to push the hard stuff out of the way and not plan for it, the less equipped we are. And we just react instead of act.
Yeah.
So, even in the 30 years since I raised my children are in their 30s now, and I have grandchildren. But back then, screen time wasn't a thing. I mean,
right.
I could easily control the television. They didn't have iPods and iPads and cell phones. They didn't have that even 30 years ago. So I didn't have all of that to navigate.
By far the biggest X factor now, right? Is the
factor.
phones and the portals into your child.
Yeah. And there's too much. And again, I emphasize discipline does not mean punishment. Discipline means guidance. If we read Proverbs chapter 1. In fact, Pastor Ted even mentioned
Yeah.
the first couple of verses of Proverbs
Yeah.
about the wisdom of
Yes.
raising a child, the wisdom of listening, the wisdom of getting good counsel.
Yeah.
And that's what every parent needs. I don't care if you come from this starchy white
Right.
church-going Christian, truly Christian
Right.
family, or you come from two alcoholic parents who
Yeah.
beat up on each other. There are needs, there are ways, and God wants to use us in our pain, in our suffering, in our joy, and in our lessons, the things that we learn, because there is someone else out there
Yeah,
who's
for sure.
going to go, oh. No, I hope to break it down and make an outlining each week, something that we can kind of keep on task about certain points. And it gives you the tools to be an intentional parent. I love that word. That's in
That
the
is
foreword
great.
of that book, to be intentional. And you know, when we're intentional about anything, instead of being glib about it, you know, we all think,
That's really
well,
great.
you know, we all approach parenting like we were parented. And in some cases, that's great. Keep those concepts. Keep what works. Keep what worked for your parents, and or hone it to today's, what's relative for today. What did your spouse bring in to rearing your children that were just beautiful little nuggets of things? You know, my husband has this wonderful memory of his mom every single morning before school coming into his room, pulling open the blind and singing this little song about sunshine. I won't dare to try it here.
That's really sweet, though.
But it is.
That's
and
really
it is sweet. Can you imagine waking up that way?
Yeah.
When he was a
So
little boy,
idyllic.
that's how he did that. You know, how his mom came in his room every morning, and you know, might not want those, but
Incredible investment. I was telling, who was I speaking to about this? You know, you spend the time and the work, the intentional work on a child, and it's the most important thing you'll do in your life. And then you're given such a gift to your community and your world.
Yeah.
You raise a balanced person, able to process emotions, able to live well-roundedly.
Right.
I can't think of it. Boy, that's our. We need that in this world. Like what a way to. People are always so concerned with the problems that we face, but if there is a silver bullet, it's raising a generation of good kids.
Yeah.
Good and godly.
Yeah, good and godly kids.
Who will turn around and serve God in a way that maybe we didn't even capture.
Absolutely.
But maybe we'll live even better.
Beautiful
do
thought.
better things.
Beautiful thought.
You know, and coming together as a community, whether it's a small group or a church body, is so important, because there is such wisdom in good numbers, you know, and the goodness is here. And Tim and I grew as people at our church, as young people, raising young children, and we had good Christian friends and a church to go to for activities and times when we weren't seeking out other things that, you know, we were seeking the good community for our kids and ourselves. For ourselves as a married couple, and ourselves as parents.